Perfect. Perfect.
Welcome back, reality check. Back in the cut, you know what it is. Back at it again with another video. Today we have, before we get into that, Xay in the building. It's VT, baby, Von Taylor, you know who it is. And we back with another video. Now before we get into today's video, we're gonna do a little mukbang because we hungry. You know what I'm saying? Now we have some delicacies right here. What is this?
This is a fish bagdad, I think.
Delicacy.
Could be saying it so wrong.
We could be butchering the name. Don't worry about that. Because when you go physically to this store, you're going to learn the name for yourself.
No cap. I literally come here every time I come to Vancouver. This place is called Masala India Bistro. Deadly. I promise you never have nothing like this ever. It's at 2345 Fraser Highway, Langley, BC.
We had to give them a shout out because this. Let me get it.
This is his first few bites actually. I had this for dinner. And I was like, I gotta bring this back for my boy because yo, I'm actually hungry.
The only problem with this right here is that I don't have more of it. So what are we watching?
We're watching 5 common behaviors that kill a relationship.
This is very interesting. Let's see what's on it.
Listen, man, we're gonna be smacking. We're gonna be
See, I like the animation on this.
I picked it only like the title is super interesting. Haven't seen any of it yet, so I was just like, yo, looks animated, looks thick.
Yeah,
I'm down to learn something. Y'all. So let's get straight into it.
Hey Psych2Goers, do you sometimes get scared that you're not being a good partner to your significant other? Or if you're not in a relationship, maybe you don't want to start one out of fear that you won't be enough for them.
Whoa.
It takes effort to create a bond with another person that will last through all the obstacles life puts in front of you. Here are some common behaviors that kill relationships. Number 1. Angrily reacting to criticism. Sometimes we feel the need to criticize the people we spend time with. Chances are your partner will sometimes criticize you too. The way you handle that criticism is the key to a healthy relationship. Do you get offended and give them the silent treatment? Do you turn it around against them? Do you get angry and yell at them? All of these behaviors could damage your relationship in the long run. It would send a message to your partner that you're not open for communication and accepting your own mistakes. Instead,
this plays into like one of my biggest things in communication with humans in general, which is forming an environment where you let the other person feel and know that you can communicate your feelings freely, or just making a friendly environment to just know that this environment is one in which we can hash things out, we can say how we're feeling, and it's a safe space. Not necessarily saying that we don't have the right to get angry sometimes, but it's disagree, but in general, it's a safe space to where we can communicate what we're feeling. If you do exactly what this video just said right here, and you shut down what people say, or you shut down things based on other people's feelings, you're implying to the other person that this is not a situation where your feelings are taken into account, or this is not a situation where your feelings are valid.
Right.
So they kind of just shut down, or they won't express themselves properly, or they won't communicate as much as they should, which will damage the relationship in the long run.
I like that. And what I was thinking too was the part where they were talking about the reverse card, or will you be offended, or will you get angry? Those 3 reactions right there. The offended card, I learned this talking to my sports psychologist at the time. And one of the things he was saying is that we get offended when we think or we feel like we are owed something. And so he's like, what do you feel like you're owed in this particular situation so that you are now offended? what did you think you thought you what did you think you had the right to, or you were owed, that wasn't provided, that now you're offended by?
I was actually talking about that exact thing with somebody else, and it's like, it's a very hard pill to swallow for people, because especially for people who consider themselves kind people and people who do things out of the kindness of your heart. If you do something out of the kindness of your heart, right, and then somebody treats you poorly after you do that, and you feel a type of way that they treated you poorly, that's actually not kindness, it's manipulation. Because if you really think about it, if you do something out of the kindness of your heart, that means that you should not be expecting anything in return. You really are, though. You're expecting them to treat you in a certain way because you treated them in a certain way. If I treat you well, even if you're not like explicitly thinking about it, subconsciously you're thinking that because I treated you nicely, you're going to respond back by treating me nicely. And if you don't, I'm going to feel upset about that.
Yeah. Somehow we have become transactional in the way we treat people.
Right.
If you do this, if you give me this, if I say this, I shout you out, you do this. But there's a certain level of expectation now that they feel or you feel towards that person, because now there has been effort, or transaction, or a certain block of X put in, where now you just feel like, oh, maybe they owe me something, or I owe you something. Where, when did we get so transactional?
And I think it came up because we were talking about how people were like, some nice people have a chronic problem of feeling used and feeling like their niceness is taken advantage of, and people take advantage of their kindness. And that's when he got into the conversation of, if you feel like people are taking advantage of your kindness, most likely it's actually manipulation that you're doing. Because for you to feel a type of way that people are taking advantage of your kindness means that they are not doing what you expected them to do after you treated them a type of way. Do you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
So it's why he said manipulation is because the way he explained it, he was like, you're treating them for your own gain at the end of the day. Like, you want them to do something, so I'm gonna act the type of way because I want something from you, which is, in this case, your actions toward me.
Wow. And this plays a role in friendships, in every relationship, like across the board, platonic or not. Like, because think about children growing up, right? If your parents are like, oh, do this, do that, do chores, and if that child does it, and your siblings who doesn't do it, no, just know they're gonna like that one more. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like we're taught like, or that reinforcement of, yeah, being obedient is gonna be a certain level of reward for that.
Right.
And whether we want to or not, our society is built on a transactional system. And so it does play a role, like, you know, in how we think, how we operate, how we celebrate, how we choose to give gifts, or we choose to not, how we choose to spend our time with people that we care about or not. Like, all of it is energy, and how you choose to spend it is how you choose to spend it. But what's behind it, the motive behind it, is also important. So I like how this described it. We're almost done the fish. Hey, look, keep pushing though. Keep pushing.
It's like 1 minute in.
I know, right?
Try to think about what your partner said and why. Take it as something that your partner finds important and try to find a solution together. Number 2, disrespecting your partner's privacy. Even if you're a couple, you're still an individual. As an individual, you want to have your own private space for things you enjoy as a person. Problems can arise if you overstep their boundaries. This could mean going through their phone, demanding to see their messages or call logs, not allowing them to see friends or family, and demanding you go out with them every time, everywhere. This could make your partner feel suffocated. It could feel like you're controlling them and become unhappy in a relationship. If you feel this behavior is common for you, it's likely there are some complex emotions underneath those actions. Feelings of inadequacy, low self-esteem, and attachment issues. Working out these problems in therapy could help you and your relationship.
The attachment issues thing is huge,
Oh yeah.
especially nowadays, especially after COVID, bro.
Dude.
You see it a lot in COVID babies, COVID dogs, pets, across the board. But
Damn.
mainly-
I didn't even realize that
Mhm.
there's COVID pets.
Yeah.
It's mad.
People were at home, they were like, oh, we have time for a dog.
It's mad.
Yeah.
COVID pets.
And they developed like attachment issues and terrible with people. Terrible with people. They get overwhelmed when they go in public and it's horrible. I feel like COVID does play a part in that. And I feel like it's prevalent. I hear a lot about attachment issues all the time. But I mean, it's a tough one. There's a fine line between wanting to spend time with someone and wanting to like build and just continue to like obviously share memories and share moments. But between that and just being like obsessively
Clingy.
yeah.
Oh yeah. And it like they actually said it in the video where they were like, the partner will feel like you're suffocating them.
Suffocate.